Welcome back to another edition of Rock Forever. We got a special guest. He is the lead singer and contributor overall to the great new record and band KK's Priest, featuring KK Downing. Please welcome Tim Ripper Owen. How are you?
I'm good, buddy. How are you?
Doing great. I am looking forward to hearing more about this project. You know, it seems like it's been at least a couple years of hearing little tidbits of what's happening. I mean, obviously, KK's been out of Priest for a while. When did this come on your radar? Because I know, what was it, about a year and a half ago? There was some gigs over there in England. I know David Ellison was part of it. There was some different stuff going on. How long ago was that? About a year and a half? A little over a year?
It was. I can't see you, Jay. Am I not supposed to see you?
No, you're just going to see the logo. It's all about
you. Oh, now I'm going to miss you.
Oh, man. You and that beautiful cannabis hat.
It's not. It's a Ohio State Buckeye.
Is that right? It's a Buckeye. Man, you could have fooled a lot of people.
I know. We get it every time. I wear it every now and then just so I can hear somebody say that. So,
especially with the greenery. You know, I went to high school in Dayton, Ohio, so I know Columbus and Cleveland and Cincinnati all too well.
I don't smoke cannabis and I don't eat Buckeyes, so I guess it's kind of a normal thing. Yeah, you know, the KK thing the idea did start then. I mean, you know, right before that, Ken had done a live guest appearance at Bloodstock with Ross the Boss, and I think it got the juices flowing. And then Dave and some friends said to Ken, "Listen, let's do a show," because I think Dave was already doing some kind of show at Ken's venue there, KK Steel Mill, and that's when he said, "Let's do a show." And then obviously they said, "Let's get Ripper," and it was great. It really was a great show. At that one, we had Les on drums, and AJ was on the other guitar, and it really went well. So I think it got it rolling, you know. And I think Ken got that desire to do it again. And then when I think he realized that he wasn't going to be part of the Priest 50 celebration, I think he said, "Well, then screw it. I'm going to do my own thing now that I want to do it again," you know. So really, that was it, you know. I just got to think that was it. That was
okay.
That was the thing that got it going. So I think it really started moving then.
Yeah. Now, what's the situation with Les Binks? Because at that point you had 3 members, you know, of Judas Priest. You know, is he retired? Was it just not his thing?
No, I think the main thing at first was, and it was very last minute. He hurt himself, and you know, and then I don't know after he hurt himself if the desire was going to be there to do full scale touring and do everything we really wanted to do. I mean, when this thing gets going, when we plan on being out there, you know. So I think the injury though was the main reason, and it was late. I mean, I went to England at the beginning of March of 2020, and that's about, I think, when we really found out, hey, Les isn't gonna be able to do it, you know. And you know, and then we recorded the record, and then COVID hit, so we really had nothing else to say until, you know, it was time to talk about everything. So really, when we put the record for sale was when we said, "Here's the lineup." You know, wasn't like we were putting something out for sale and trying to, you know, do anything. We said, "Here's the lineup of the band." You know, then people were like, "What happened to Les?" And you told us it was Les. Well, we wanted it to be Les, but he just couldn't do it.
No, understand. You know, it's not for everybody, you know, to get out there and tour, you know, with some years under your belt. It's you know, it takes a special commitment. There's no doubt about that, you know.
It is, but I think you know, obviously the main reason why he didn't do it was because he hurt his hand or arm or whatever it was. You know, obviously the whole thing was to have Les, but I think, like I said, after that, my thinking is, it's a lot to take on. And when you start having injuries and stuff, you're like, man, I don't know. But the injury was it. And, you know, we had to go on without him. And so the best thing is we got Sean to do it, which is a friend of mine and plays in the Three Tremors with me and plays in the band Cage. And he's just an amazing young drummer. So we were lucky that we had someone that could come right in and just destroy it.
Yeah, well, we love Cage, and we know he's well equipped. Now, with the album, were all these songs recorded at once, or was it a couple batches? How'd you lay them down?
At once, I flew over there, and they were ready to go. He had them all ready and written and ready to rock. And after COVID, he went back through it and started making some changes because he had a lot of time on his hands since we couldn't do anything. So he went back through it and listened to it, and I redid some vocals here. A big part that I redid that I always laugh at is Sermons of the Sinner, which is the most old school kind of fast, high note singing song. Originally, it was high, but it was a lot raspier. My performance on the verses were raspier attack, dirtier. And then Ken's like, man, why don't we do one in your studio with you singing it cleaner? So that's what we did. We tried to do it a little bit different.
Yeah, well, it sounds really strong. Obviously, there were many eras of Judas Priest, and obviously the era you came in with Jugulator and Demolition. I mean, these are obviously songs that the current Judas Priest doesn't play. So, you can obviously pull from that, in the set, the new album. Have you started to put together, what would be the ultimate, set going out there? And would you actually pull from a few of the Halford classics?
Well, I think we probably would. I think our main thing, and I know Ken's talked about it a lot to myself, is that, we want to push the new record. We want to push KK's Priest. Those are songs we want to do. So I think there's no doubt that's going to be a big chunk of the set. I don't think there's any doubt we'll play something from Jugulator and Demolition, maybe Burn in Hell, Hell's Home, One on One, songs like that. Definitely One on One and Burn in Hell, in my opinion. I think Machine Man would be another one. Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice to do, because like that at that show I did with those guys, we did Beyond the Realms of Death. We did songs like Before the Dawn, which isn't played that much. I don't know if it's ever been played by him. Take on All the World. So I think, if we could tap into some other, I'd love to do something off Rock-a-Rolla like Cheater or something just obscure. We don't have to always play the ones they've always played, even though Exciter is a great one. They've always played it. They've always played Beyond the Realms of Death, but to play Before the Dawn and Cheater and pick something obscure off of Point of Entry, I think that would be the cool thing to do.
Yeah, well, obviously the fans out there are a few generations deep. There's the younger generation that just wants to rock hard and is all about hearing the new album and the new band and everything. And then there's your classic fans that welcoming KK back. I mean, it's been how many years has it been since he left? What year did he depart?
Well, I think I heard someone say it's been like 10, 11 years now. Which is crazy. It's been that long, So I think it's been like 11 years since he's
okay, probably 2010, somewhere around there.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. Well, yeah, no, I know there was some, discrepancies. He obviously wanted to voice his opinion. Maybe some others didn't agree with that. There was a hard line put down, but now Glenn Tipton isn't touring. So you have neither one of the original, Judas Priest guitarists in that band. So, your band really features, the only one. And I know, people are going to pit one against the other and all of that naturally, but it is something to be said for that, because
yes,
no
what,
matter, yeah,
Jay, you got Judas Priest is Judas Priest. Rob and listen, Scott, he's been here for so damn long. And then Ian's was an original one there, right, with Ken. So I mean, that's Judas Priest. We're not Judas Priest, and that's what we're KK's Priest, which we would call it KK's Judas Priest, or this isn't Judas Priest. We're KK's Priest. It's a different band. You still have Judas Priest. I know unfortunately, Glenn's not there, and it's a shame. And Glenn's just, I love Glenn to death, and he's just an amazing guy and friend. Um, but you know, Scott and Ian and Rob. I mean, it's Rob Halford, so that's the voice of Judas Priest. You have that. Now you have this band here, which is the same style, obviously, because KK's was one of the main songwriters in Judas Priest. KK, when you hear KK's Priest, you hear who was writing for Judas Priest, because I hear, I hear things that sound like rock and roll on this record. I hear all kinds of stuff. KK's writing like KK Downing is not writing like anything else but KK Downing. So I think for fans, it's awesome because you get to have a band that's in the same genre, and you have the band that you love, the songwriter for Judas Priest for all those years, and now you have this. So you get to go out and enjoy Judas Priest, and you get to go out and enjoy KK's Priest.
Well, there's no question about it. I know it's important to stand on your own and, make sure that this album is what people are coming to see primarily. But then again, you have, there's an established base, 50 years deep, out there that, would be ridiculous not to try and tap something into, but obviously you want to create new fans, maybe some that weren't even Judas Priest fans, but obviously, it's more of a, condensed market out there, for the big festivals and the big boys. So, you definitely want to, pull from all that you can. Now, how many shows do you have on your belt initially? Those first shows, what was that? 2 or 3 shows?
No, with Ken, we only did the one show. We did the one thing. So, that's all we did, and then that's it. I mean, we would have been touring now, obviously. We had things lined up for last summer, and then getting the record out. We had everything starting to line up and book and stuff. But obviously, that all took a big shit because of COVID. But so yeah, we have the one show. But I guess Ken and I have quite a few shows in our build up between us, so we're okay.
Yeah. Now, obviously, August 20th is the date of the album. Was that kind of set because the album's been in the can for a while? Was that kind of set because you felt like that would be a good time to open up, the touring, and you want to make sure the album's out when you hit the road?
On what, when we do our first touring?
Yeah, I mean, the album is August 20th. Obviously, you could have released it earlier because it's been in the can, but I'm just trying to get an idea why it was set.
We could have, but you're 100% right. I mean, everything goes into it. First of all, it wasn't finalized and finally mixed till a few months ago, so it wasn't like that. But yeah, you can't just, we're not an established band. If there's somebody else, you can put something out, can't you? I mean, we haven't even been able to get together and take band photos. Everything you've seen has been green screened because we can't now. It's funny because next week, Sean and I fly to England, which is a pain in the butt to even try to do that. Hopefully we'll be able to get in with everything we're trying to fill out in the paperwork. But to have a meeting and to sit down and take some photos and do some interviews and just talk things over. But yeah, a record label is certainly not going to sink a ton of money into a new thing when you can't support it at all. I mean, you can't do the right thing. So now that it's getting closer to the time, we just couldn't wait any longer. But yeah, I think a big thing was that it's a label's definitely, they're just not going to want to do anything until time's right.
Yeah, I guess if you were based in the UK, you could probably do some European stuff, or if they were based over here, you could be doing some American shows. But when you got a band that's kind of split, in 2 different continents like that, it hasn't certainly opened up with ease to,
no,
immediately
and
jump through.
America's open pretty good now, where shows are starting to be booked. It's starting to get open. Hopefully it'll stay like that. But when you're just traveling in general to do things, like if we set up a tour in the UK, we probably could set it up. If we set up a tour somewhere in a country that we could do it, we could figure it out. But that's just now start happening. So we couldn't do anything. And like you said, if we set up a big tour supporting somebody or doing ourselves in America, we could do it. But yeah, we couldn't do anything. And still setting things up now, you just don't know whether it's still going to stay good. I mean, listen, next month we could go back to shutting more things down again. Who knows?
Yeah. So when you're over there, the idea is meetings, photos. Would you be doing some live videos where you're all on the same screen together?
Listen, your guess is as good as mine. Um, I, as of now, I don't have much of a game plan. Uh, I don't really have an itinerary of what's going on. I know I'm trying to get there, and uh, strangely enough, I don't really know
Okay.
what the plan is. So I'm just going to show up and figure out what I'm supposed to do. I'll just
Well, I guess
at
step
this
one and
moment, I guess I'm just going to have to sit and smile.
well, step one is to be accepted in the country, I guess, and then you figure out what step two, three, and four are. But yeah,
Yeah, let me fill the paperwork out. I was never very good in school, and at this point in my career, you think someone would help you figure things out to get somewhere instead of just saying it's all up to you. You get here, so uh, that's kind of the point I'm at right now. I'm hoping I fill the paperwork out right. If not, then I'll stay home and drink some more coffee.
but you and Sean are vaccinated.
Vaccinated, I'm vaccinated. Yeah, I imagine Sean is too, but that has nothing to do with it. Strangely enough, my main reason, I mean, I'll get vaccinated anyways. I'm not a, again, I'm not some wimp that's going to complain about it. I'll get vaccinated. I do a lot worse things than trying this vaccination. But yes, I was doing it to I'm thinking it's going to get us into places easier, and that's what you're going to need. The first thing you read is being vaccinated doesn't help at all. I don't even need to take my card with me. So it's like, okay, that's not what I thought it was going to be. But you got to get tested. You got to get tested within 3 days before you go. You got to get tested within 2 days of being there. And then if you're there for more than 9 days, you got to get tested again. And then you got to get tested to come back home. So that's a lot of testing going on. And I was never good at tests, like I said, so I might be in trouble.
Yeah. Well, I know they got the swab test now. They're not jamming that thing way up your
Well, the one I
nostril.
got to get is the one they're jamming up into my brain.
Oh,
That's the one to get to England. Now, coming back to America, we don't have to get the exact same one. Actually, it's pretty great to come back to America from what I heard. And I don't know yet, but Heathrow Airport's actually doing the test in Heathrow. So when you get there, you can take a test. In 15 minutes, you get the result, which sounds like a rapid test here in America that we can't use to go to America. We can't do a rapid test. We have to do the whatever test that they stick up in your skull.
yeah. Well, like you say, getting a vaccination really isn't that big of a deal, because if it's our first line of offense trying to get the world open up, especially with this Delta variant and all that, it's the least you can do is have a vaccination. I think people dragging their feet on that are kind of ridiculous.
Yes.
To each their own, but to me, I don't think it's speeding up the process of
Yeah.
opening up. Plus, like I said, heaven forbid, the unvaccinated seem to be the most vulnerable for the new Delta,
Well,
variant.
there's no doubt about it. Especially if you're older and you haven't. But here's the thing about it. It's not 1950 to make a vaccination now and to speed up the study of it. We know a lot more stuff now than we did ever. That's my philosophy on it. And I I think I didn't even get sick off mine. I have more side effects by, eating at the local Mexican restaurant than I did from the vaccine. But listen, I get people don't want to do it. They don't want to do it. I mean, there's people you tell not to drink and drive, and there's millions of people driving on the road drunk every day. So, I mean, and those people are the ones that don't want to get vaccinated. So go figure.
Yeah, yeah. Well, like I say, hopefully, a year, 2 years from now, we can look back and see this behind us. I know the last thing any of us want to do is one step forward and two step back. A year from now, realize that there's something bigger in our way than what we thought.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I know people are hungry to rock, and I know you're in multiple bands and projects. So, singing in the studio is something that never held you back. But getting out there in front of people, how much do you look forward to that? Just hearing the roar of the fans and the fists in the air.
Hold on. I know we're recording this, but I got my contractor here is going to ask me a question.
Want electric to the shed.
Why do? Yeah.
Okay, that's what
Oh yeah.
He's got it. He just didn't know if you still wanted it.
Yeah, we still have the lights and stuff out there. Okay.
Oh, no problem.
How about
Uh,
that? That's good. This is right in the middle of the interview. I like this.
yeah, just feeling that roar of the crowd and the fists in the air. How much you look forward to that?
Well, it's great. I've been lucky to do some shows around here. They're smaller shows. I traveled to South Carolina and North Carolina this weekend, so that was like a 10-hour. I just went by myself. I drove 10 hours, did a show, and then drove, 2.5, 3 hours up the road, and then did a show, and then drove about 8, 9 hours home. I've been doing them around here within right locally or 4 or 5 hours away, and it's been great. But it's going to be nice to go to the other level again. You know what I mean? To me, I look at any show, whether it's 10,000 people or 75 people. To me, those fans and the expressions on their faces are great. But this is going to be a really special one. Ken and I are such good friends. The material's so good. The band's so great, Tony and AJ and Sean, and we're going to have so much fun. But you just nailed it by saying, putting the fists in the air and singing and seeing those people sing along, because they'll sing these new ones too. We have a song on a new record called Raise Your Fists, and it's you do miss it. You miss the travel, you miss the camaraderie, you miss everything. So it's gonna be great to get out there.
Yeah, I know it's something we all live for, and we share those September birthdays. So I know, being a fellow Virgo, if you look at the list of incredible singers, the legends, including Halford, but the Freddie Mercurys and Coverdales and Glenn Hughes. I mean, a ton of the greatest singers of all time are Virgos. Have you really recognized that?
It's the first time I heard that. That's pretty great. Yeah,
Yeah, if you saw a list of the celebrities that are Virgos, it would blow your mind. I mean, even Michael Jackson, but I mean, the heavy rock singers pretty much, dominate. It's pretty amazing how that works.
Well, there you go. See, I'm gonna have to look at that up and look at the list of Virgo singers. My new band might be called Virgo then.
Well, it's always a special time of year, and of course, I know Virgos are hardworking and focused. So, we got some great attributes. And, in closing, I know it's all about this album, but, what can you say to your friend David Ellefson? Obviously, he had a misfortunate incident. He got, caught doing something. It was probably a discretion that obviously he regrets, but to get booted out of, Megadeth, that he was a founding member of, 30, almost 40 years ago. What are your hopes for David in bouncing back?
Oh, David will be fine. It's between David and his family, isn't it? In my opinion, what he did was wrong. Again, there's people out there who are up in arms with it. It was consensual between the two people. She wasn't. She was an adult. It wasn't right though. It is between him and his family. Obviously, there had to be other reasons. Said he was kicked out of Megadeth, not because of that. Because from what I know, I'm certain if you're kicking someone out of doing bad things in a band, then Mustaine wouldn't even be in the band. So, it's unfortunate. David's a wonderful guy, friend. He did something wrong. Again, there's people out there who are bitching about him who I know for a fact have done worse. Again, they're probably out drinking and driving, and they're acting like, it's a shame. It's a shame. I feel bad for him. I wish he wouldn't have done it. It wasn't right. But, we're talking about someone he still didn't do anything illegal, from what I gather. I don't know. I mean,
no, I don't believe so. And plus, like you say, he's a super hardworking guy. One of the hardest working people I've ever met in the business, completely focused, maybe that intimidated others, but we certainly wish him the best. But everybody get ready. KK's Priest, Sermons of the Sinner, coming August 20th. Of course, Tim Ripper Owens is shaking the earth, on this one, as always, man. Thanks for joining us. Always a pleasure. Can't wait to see what you guys choose in the set. I know it's going to be one of the all-time shows when you guys hit the boards.
Thanks, buddy. Yeah, it's good to talk to you again. And Jay, hopefully we talk again soon. Whenever you want to, just give me a holler.
Absolutely. Have a great week. Thanks,
Thanks.
Ripper.
Thanks, buddy.
Take care.